Okay, I don't know if you all noticed, but the books that I've been reading are very similar to the old fairy tales and stories that we've learned from Disney or just different places. And just like this one, it's a Pinocchio book, but it's a little bit different. You see, he's got his finger up his nose. They're called fractured fairy tales. So, like I said, it takes your regular story and then just kind of puts a little bit of a twist on it. So, this one is called Don't Pick Your Nose, Pinocchio. That's really nasty. So yeah, we definitely don't want to do that, do we? All right, so let's see what happens with Pinocchio here. Okay, Geppetto was a carpenter. That's Geppetto right there. He had no family and was very lonely. He decided to make himself a wooden puppet boy and pretend that it was his son. The puppet was very realistic. It even had nostrils, you know, your nose holes. Geppetto called him Pinocchio. So there's Pinocchio. Geppetto talked to Pinocchio all the time. Look, he's even reading him a story right there. But Pinocchio could not talk back. Geppetto got some very strange looks when people saw them out together. Then one day, a kind-hearted fairy waved her hand and poof! Pinocchio came to life. See the little fairy? There. And all of his strings are coming off of him. He's not going to be a puppet anymore, is he? Be a good son, Geppetto, the fairy told him. Don't tell lies. Don't pick your nose. And then one day you'll be a real boy. It's kind of odd for a fairy to say to him, isn't it? Pinocchio tried very hard to be good, but he couldn't resist sticking his finger up his nose and rummaging about. He pulled out little wooden boogers and flicked them across the floor. Look at that. Look at all of that he picked out of his nose. Geppetto slipped on them and fell with a bump. Pinocchio, he shouted. Have you been picking your nose? Oh, that's going to hurt when you fall. No, father, said Pinocchio, and boing! His nose suddenly grew. So we know that's from the story, right? When Pinocchio tells a lie, his nose grew. That's what happens when you tell a lie, said Geppetto. Pinocchio, have you been picking your nose? Asked Geppetto again. Yes, father, said Pinocchio, and his nose shrank back to normal. So see, he told the truth on that one. One day, Pinocchio was playing under the kitchen table. Are you picking your nose, Pinocchio? Called Geppetto. No, father, said Pinocchio. There, what happened again? His nose, it grew. Boing! Pinocchio still had his finger stuck up his nose. When his nose grew, it grew so quickly that his arm came off and shot across the room. Oh, that's not good. So Geppetto mended Pinocchio's arm, and then he fetched a little box, and he opened it up. Pinocchio, he cried, meet Mr. Cricket. He's going to stay with you and help you stop picking your nose. See the little cricket? Pinocchio's nose started to tickle, but as he lifted up his finger, Mr. Cricket hopped onto it and shouted, Don't pick your nose, Pinocchio. So he did. Then Mr. Cricket played games with Pinocchio to keep his fingers busy. That's a good idea. Learn to play cards. But one day, Mr. Cricket jumped onto Pinocchio's finger too late and got shoved right up his nose. So when he went to jump to get him to stop picking his nose, Pinocchio's finger shoved it up there. Get me out, he cried. How? Asked Pinocchio. Blow your nose into a tissue, said Mr. Cricket. So Pinocchio blew his nose and pop, pop, out came Mr. Cricket. That's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to use a Kleenex, right? I'm so sorry, Mr. Cricket, said Pinocchio. I promise I'll try not to pick my nose anymore. Blowing it is much more fun. That's interesting that he says blowing his nose is fun too, though. The fairy had been watching and was so impressed by Pinocchio. Poof! She turned him into a real little boy. And then from that day on, Pinocchio never, ever picked his nose again. The end. So that's pretty cool, though, and also telling the truth, right? You had to tell the truth to be able to become a little boy as well. So just remember that. No picking the nose. Y'all take care.